Welcome to Santa Clarita Weekly, where we cover all things local in Santa Clarita Valley every Saturday morning at 9 on KQRU 107.9. Join hosts Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty as they uncover the latest news, events, sports highlights, and more, keeping you connected and engaged with what matters most in our hometown.
Welcome back for another edition of Santa Clarita Weekly with Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty. I'm Sage. He's Tim. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings at 9. We are also on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find us online at santaclaritastar.com. So just a brief summary of what we're going to be talking about today. So the 99 cents only stores all over California and in 3 other states are closing. The liquidation sales started last week, and one of the most affordable places to buy groceries, birthday cards, kitchen supplies, and toothpaste are going away. The minimum wage went up to $20 an hour for fast food workers, and the price of some food items went up as a result. The Passaic boys volleyball team won the Easter Classic tournament in Las Vegas. The West Ranch baseball team went 1-2 in the National Classic, and the Passaic baseball team won 2 non-league games over the spring break. And we will finally talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers swept the San Francisco Giants, but dropped 2 of 3 games against the Cubs in Chicago last week. So let's start out talking about the 99 cents only stores closing. All 371 of the 99 cents only stores in California, including 2 in Santa Clarita, are closing. There are 99 cent stores in 4 states, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and right here in California, and they're all closing too. They are a place where people could buy food, party supplies, household items, kitchen supplies, and not spend a lot of money. You know, some people are blaming the closures on President Biden and Governor Gavin Newsom, which is nonsense. Santa Clarita has 3 Walmarts, 2 Targets, a Sam's Club, a Big Lots, and about a dozen Dollar Trees. And I think even a new Dollar Tree is opening pretty soon, just down the street from the 99 cents only store. That is closing right here in Newhall. So there is a new Aldi and a new grocery store outlet opening in Santa Clarita too. Santa Clarita still has plenty of places for cheap groceries and supplies. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors requested a report to provide assistance for those who will be losing their jobs because of the closures. And the company that owns Big Lots is exploring buying the closed 99 cents only stores in California and reopening them under different management. Just yesterday, the Victorville Daily Press reported that certain investors are looking at maybe trying to rescue the chain. Mark Miller, who is the CEO of Pick and Save Bargains, and he's the former CEO of Big Lots. He's hoping that he can at least save the 143 stores that are here in California. And this is just coming after that the 99 cent only stores announced that they were closing down. So Tim, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. First off, I love the 99 cents only stores, and I'm sad that they're closing. I go to shop there all the time. There's some of the things I used to love to get there, or I like to get there, are the Velveeta like cheese packets. They're great for making nachos and cheese fries, and they always have staple supplies there, like canned foods and canned vegetables and all the spices that you need, salt, pepper. They have great deals on snacks, on chips, on donuts, and so it was a good place to go. And even for me, it was a great place to buy all of my my bathroom stuff, all of my toothpaste, my shaving cream, and so it was a great place to shop for when you're on a budget, for when you're looking for all the household items that you need and didn't have a whole lot of money to spend. So I'm sad that they're closing. But I've also seen a lot of people complain about why it's closing and how that they're not going to have any place to shop for affordable things anymore. And I I just don't understand that, because we live in a town, we live in a city that has plenty of places to buy affordable groceries, affordable household items, affordable party supplies. They're all over the place, and kind of listed a bunch of them. And it's just funny that the 99 cents only store is closing in Newhall, but 2 blocks away there's a Dollar Tree that's opening over by where the bowling alley is. So it's sad. It's sad that they're all closing, and I shop there a lot. I used to use it a lot, but it's really not. I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but it's not as a horrible situation as people are making it out to be. So, and it looks
Yeah.
like there's going to be some help too. Like the county supervisors are trying to put together at least a plan to help the people that are losing their jobs, and the pick and save people look like they're at least going to try to save it. So we'll see how that goes too. But yeah, it's still sad. I'm sad to see it go.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the people that are scheduled to lose their jobs, but I'm glad they're getting some help, and I hope they find new jobs soon. If they don't, if the chain can't get rescued, I hope they find new jobs pretty soon. But I was talking to a guy that was yesterday, and he was telling me how sad he was that it was closing, because that's where he goes to buy candy and
Hmm.
different snacks and everything. And he's like, it was cheap and it was right there and it was easy. So, I do understand why people are upset, but like you said, there's a lot of places in Santa Clarita to get cheap food and groceries and snacks.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I went on Friday. I went last week to see what was on sale and what wasn't, and I was actually kind of surprised that the sales weren't great. Everything was just 10% off, which really wasn't that big of a discount. In fact, a lot of the prices went up to $1.25 or $1.29 last year, right after the pandemic. And even with the 10% discount, it wasn't quite 99 cents again. It's still
Hmm.
over 99 cents. But yeah, I'm with your friend. I mean, I used to love to go there. Especially one of the things I used to love to do was to go there after holidays, like after Halloween, after Easter, after Christmas, and all of the candy, all of the chocolate, everything was half off. And so you could pick up like
Yeah.
little boxes of chocolates or little gift boxes for like 50 cents. It was great. I mean, those are the things that I used to love about the 99 cents only store. But at the same time, there's plenty of other places in town that will offer those type of deals and those type
I'm
of
sorry.
bargains. But yes, it was a great place to find bargains and get cheap candy after the holidays.
So let's talk about the minimum wage. Uh, it's going up to $20 an hour for most fast food workers. I think there are certain exemptions there, but most fast food workers should see a raise in pay if you're getting paid under $20 an hour, of course. The new minimum wage went into effect on April 1st. It's something that probably should have happened a long time ago, but it is a move that is leading to complaints of higher food prices and forcing some fast food locations to close. Some food prices have gone up, but the price of a double double at In and Out went up 15 cents. Starbucks and Wendy's raised their food prices on some items too. And despite the slight increases in higher wages, it hasn't led to any restaurant closures in Santa Clarita yet. In fact, a few new restaurants are coming in. They're about to open. There's a new Casa Canela opening in at the old Coco's restaurant in Stevenson's Ranch, and a new In and Out recently opened on the old road near Magic Mountain. The higher minimum wage is going to help struggling workers, and it will probably have uh, not so much of an effect on the fast food choices that we have here in Santa Clarita in California. But Tim, I know this is something that they've been expecting for a while. They've been phasing this in, so companies have had a while to adjust to this. What is your opinion?
Well, the first thing that I noticed that some food prices did go up, and one of the places that I did notice this at was at In-N-Out. Now, In-N-Out has always been one of the fast food places that does pay a decent wage. It was a great place to work. I had friends who worked there when I was in high school, when I was in college, and it was a great job. It was a great job to have while you were in school. It paid well. They got good benefits, and they were able to have flexible schedules on top of everything else. So the price of food at In-N-Out went up slightly. I noticed that the double doubles are 15 cents more. Everything seems like everything was just 15 cents more than it was before the minimum wage went up. So even the meals, even the double double meals with fries and a soda is only at 15 cents. The cheeseburgers, the shakes, everything. It's just slightly up. But I did notice a big change. Not really a big change. There was a change in prices at Starbucks. I see that the Starbucks coffees, I think, are 40 cents more than they were before the minimum wage went up. So I think it went up from like 3.45 for a cup of coffee to 3.85 for the big cups, the ventis. But still, that's obviously more money, but it's not like it doubled in price either. And there's some other places that I've heard that had higher prices. I heard Burger King increase their prices, but there was one story I saw too with like a Burger King fish sandwich like almost doubled in price, which I find hard to believe. So I don't know if that's true or not. But the fish sandwich at Burger King used to be $4, and I hear it's $8 now. So I don't know. I have to check that one out myself. I don't know if that's true or not. This might be a vicious rumor, but yeah, I mean, food prices are going to go up, and people are going to get paid more at the fast food restaurants. And I think most people who go to fast food restaurants for meals aren't going to be hurting if they have to pay an extra dollar or more to get a cheeseburger and fries.
Yeah, one of the arguments against the $20 minimum wage for fast food workers that I hear often is that this is a starter job, and most of the fast food workers are young, uh, teenagers, and this is their first job, and they don't need $20 an hour. But they're really not thinking about adjusting for inflation, and also the fact that that's simply not true. There are a lot of young people that work fast food jobs for their first jobs, but there are a lot of people working fast food jobs for their careers as well, and
Hmm.
supporting families, and we just have to be aware of that. So this is really a long time coming. Yeah, and like I said before, I think there's people are aware that this was coming, so this is not a huge surprise for fast food restaurants.
Right, right. And the whole argument too is that if you're going to run a business, if you're going to have a franchise, even a food franchise or any type of business, if you can't pay your workers enough to live on, then you probably shouldn't be in business. And there are plenty of people who run responsible and successful businesses and pay their workers decently. I want to say that they pay them to make them rich, but the people that work for them aren't starving and applying for food stamps and need other types. They don't need to work two or three jobs just to make ends meet. So I think a lot of this has to do with how people manage their businesses too. And I think a lot more people could be more responsible and be more, what's the right word? Take advantage of being in a position to run a business, because they're important. We need small business owners in our society, in our community, but we also need them to understand that they have a responsibility to take care of their workers too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're listening to KQRU 107.9 FM, and you can listen to us online, on
Mhm.
YouTube, and on Instagram, and find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. On to sports.
Yeah, let's talk about sports. So we're going to start out talking about a sport that I don't think we've talked about before on this show, which is volleyball. So high school volleyball. The Castaic boys volleyball team went to Las Vegas for a tournament and won the Easter Classic at Canyon Springs High School. The team won the Silver Division Championship, beating the host Canyon Springs team in the championship match. Castaic won 3 matches over Pinecrest Academy, Sloan Canyon, Canyon Springs, and Chaparral, leading up to the championship match and a rematch against Canyon Springs. Quinn Broadwater had 27 kills in the tournament for Castaic. The middle blocker also had 9 blocks and 7 aces in the tournament. So, Tim, did Castaic ever play for the overall tournament championship, or was the Easter Classic divided into divisions from the beginning?
It was split up into different divisions, but it wasn't determined when the teams got into the tournament. So this is going to be a little difficult to explain, and it kind of gets into the weeds of how tournament volleyball works. But the teams went to the tournament. They played random teams in the first day, and they all got separated into different levels after those first few games. And so there was a group that got put into the gold division, which were the better teams, and a team that got put into the silver division, which were not so better teams. There were good teams, but they just weren't as good as the gold division. And so Castaic played their first few matches, and they did okay. They didn't win a bunch of them, but they won enough. And so they got put into the silver division, and they started doing the elimination brackets the next day. And so they had their 3 matches against Pinecrest Academy, Canyon Springs, and Chaparral, and they won all 3 of those matches. So they got through the eliminations, and I'm assuming Canyon Springs got knocked down into like a loser bracket, elimination bracket, and they ended up playing Castaic again in the championship match. So that's how Castaic got through the tournament. And they got through to the championship match of the silver bracket, and they won. So that's good for Castaic. I'm not sure how well they've been doing this season, but it's always nice to win a tournament. It's always nice to come home with some success, and especially going to Las Vegas. I'm sure that was a lot of fun for the kids to get out to Las Vegas and spend a week playing volleyball in a new place against new teams, and just enjoying being away from Santa Clarita for a few days.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had a blast. So let's talk about baseball. The West Ranch baseball team played in the National Classic during a break in Foothill League play. The Wildcats went 1-2 in 3 games, beating Cypress 4-3 and losing to Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks, and Mira Costa. Castaic won 2 games, 16-8 over Foothill Tech and 20-0 over Santa Clara. Valencia beat Birmingham 4-2. The Saugus baseball team lost 2 games, and the Golden Valley baseball team lost 2 games. So, Tim, I have a question about the National Classic impact. Did West Ranch's performance in the National Classic provide any insight into their strengths and weaknesses compared to the Foothill League competition?
Yeah, so the National Classic, it's kind of hard to explain because it's not. I mean, it's kind of like a tournament, but it's really more of a chance to play some teams that you're unfamiliar with, that are not familiar opponents, and teams from all over Southern California came to this tournament. And West Ranch beat some quality. They beat Cypress. They beat a quality team, and they played some quality teams. So it was a good way for them to figure out how well they might do in playoffs. These are some of the teams that they might see come playoff time. But more importantly, it was to keep them fresh, keep them active during the spring break when they're not playing other Foothill League teams, and they're not worrying about winning Foothill League championships and being in position for a playoff spot. It just gave them a nice little break to to kind of gauge how well they are against other teams. They don't play all the time, and to not feel pressured about having to win games so that they don't lose places in the Foothill League standings and possibly get knocked out of a playoff spot.
Yeah. All right. So one thing I want to note for everybody listening, it is spring break, so that's why there's not that much going on with high school sports. So that's why we're our segment is going to be a little bit shorter today than it usually is. Let's talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers swept the San Francisco Giants in 3 games before heading to Chicago, where they lost 2 of 3 games to the Cubs. The Dodgers started the season by scoring at least 5 runs in each of their first 10 games. They beat the Cubs 4-1 on Saturday to break the 5 runs a game streak. The Dodgers lost to the Cubs 8-1 on Sunday in a game that was delayed by rain and probably should have been canceled. The infield turned into puddles and balls were covered in mud. When players tried to field them on the infield, play was stopped in the 4th inning with Dodgers, trailing 6-0. It resumed a few hours later. The Dodgers are 8-4 after 12 games. They play the Twins in Minnesota before heading home for a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres at Dodger Stadium. So, Tim, the Dodgers started hot, scoring at least 5 runs in 10 games. What caused the offensive slump against the Cubs? Were there any specific pitchers or defensive adjustments that shut them down?
There wasn't so much of an offensive letdown in Chicago. Chicago's a good team. The Cubs are going to be a good team, and they ran into a couple good pitchers there. But I think there were a couple other things playing against them. One of them is that it was really cold in Chicago. I mean, it was like the first time that the Dodgers have played in that kind of weather since last year, since last October. So playing in cold weather is never fun, especially when you're used to playing in California and in LA, and where it's nice and sunny and warm. And even though it's been a little chilly out here for the first week of the season for the Dodgers, going to Chicago and playing in Chicago weather right now is totally different, and it takes a while to get used to. So I don't think that the run production in Chicago is something to be too alarmed about. That it's hard to play, it's hard to score runs, it's hard to hit when it's that cold. And then the game on Sunday, I mean, from Saturday to Sunday, I mean, the weather was just horrible there. And the game on Sunday was on ESPN, so you could see that the I'm sorry. The game on Sunday was on ESPN, and I'm sorry, no, I'm getting confused. The game on Sunday was not on ESPN. The game on Saturday was on Fox. But if you watch the game on Sunday, watch the game on TV, you could tell that the infield was not playable. I mean, the puddles that were forming on the infield were deep. I mean, they were making splashes. The players are making splashes in the puddles as they were trying to run around the field just to field a ground ball. And there was one play in particular where Miguel Rojas fielded a ground ball at third base, and he threw it across the diamond, and it skipped. It went into the dirt before Freddie Freeman could catch it, and it hit a puddle, and it just made a big old splash, and it didn't bounce, and it just got stuck, and Freddie Freeman couldn't catch the ball. So they called the game after that play, and like I said, it should have been called way before that. And this is a game that probably should have never started, because the rain was so bad, the weather was so bad, and the infield was not even close. It wasn't even close to little league level standards, let alone major league standards.
Yeah. So anybody that's been to Chicago, especially this time of year, knows that there's a reason it's called the Windy City. So so it looks like that muddy field really impacted the Dodgers' performance in the second Cubs game. So
yes.
So Tim, let's talk more about how the Dodgers started the week by sweeping the Giants.
Yeah, so the Dodgers got off to a good start to the week. They play the Giants, and when the Dodgers play the Giants, it's always must see TV. It's always the best games of the year, and for a bunch of reasons. I mean, the Dodgers and Giants have a rivalry that goes all the way back to New York, and they're division games, so they're important. And to see the Dodgers sweep the Giants at any time of the season is always a good sign. And the Dodgers were ready for that series. We're ready for those games. It was nice to see them step up. It was nice to see them not let the Giants even have a chance in those games. I mean, some of them were close, but for the most part, the Dodgers showed that they're at a different level than the Giants, and hopefully they can maintain that level throughout the season, because I think the Giants are going to be a good team. I think the Giants are going to be a playoff team, but in that series, the Dodgers definitely had the upper hand.
That's our show for the week. Thanks for tuning in. Come back next week for more discussions about what's in the news in Santa Clarita. Don't forget to subscribe to our page, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about. Listen to this show on KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings at 9. And have a great week, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Santa Clarita Weekly. You can watch the show on Santa Clarita Star's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as listen in on the radio at KQRU 107.9. Visit SantaClaritaStar.com for more content and tune in right here to KQRU 107.9. A new voice for Santa Clarita.